Pensacola Veterans Memorial Park honors the memory of those who have sacrificed their lives in service and defense of our country. The park includes the only permanent replica of the National Vietnam Memorial and memorials for World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. Here to tell us more about this beautiful park dedicated to veterans is Butch Hansen, president of the Veterans Memorial Park Foundation. Good morning, Butch. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, you're here to talk about the Veterans Memorial Park, and let me just say, I'm a recent graduate of the Leadership Pensacola class, and we randomly had some time one day to go visit the park, and I was astounded because you drive by it every day. It's in a prime location, but you don't really think about what's there exactly, so I'm really excited to have you. Could you tell me a little bit about what your role is with the Veterans Memorial Park?
Well, I'm the current president of our Veterans Memorial Park Foundation in Pensacola, and we're a not-for-profit corporation that was founded for the specific purpose of stewardship of our Veterans Memorial Park in Pensacola, and we're a licensee to the city of Pensacola to maintain, raise funds, and further develop the park.
And it's, like I said, it's beautiful and it's a great location. Tell us, where exactly is this park located?
Well, the park is at it's right at the bayfront. It's right at the corner of 9th or 10th Avenue and Romana Street is the north end of the park, and then the south end is right on Bayfront Parkway. And you'll see the Huey helicopter that's right over the wall there.
Well, in preparation for this interview, I was kind of perusing the Veterans Memorial website, which, by the way, is fantastic. You do a phenomenal job talking about the history behind it and where it all came about. Could you kind of describe to us the history behind the park and how it came about and why it's here? And obviously, we're a military-focused community. We have great military presence.
Well, actually a dedicated group of veterans about 20 years ago, or a little bit more than 20 years ago, after a visit of the portable Vietnam Memorial Wall that goes around the country, made a visit to Pensacola and decided we needed an appropriate memorial modeled after the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C., here in Pensacola. And they went about raising the funds, acquiring the site adjacent to Admiral Mason Park, and making that memorial a reality. And as a result, the park grew then. We transferred the World War I memorial that was already resident in Pensacola to the park to make it a true Veterans Memorial Park and not just a Vietnam Memorial Park. So we now have memorials to World War I, World War II, the Korean War, submarine lifeguard from World War II. There's our newest additions are a marine aviation bell tower, and our very newest is a memorial to our oldest conflict, the Revolutionary War, which is an exact replica from the same mold as the Minuteman Memorial in Concord.
That's pretty expansive amount of time from, showing the different conflicts and things we've been involved in as a country. Sure. What I think also is interesting, and I read on your website, is that this is the only permanent replica of the Vietnam War Memorial. That is. How did Pensacola get that? Why is this park so important to our community?
Well, because our congressional district has the largest concentration of military veterans of any in the country. And a lot of those veterans are very dedicated. They've been touched by loss, by their good friends, and we memorialize those, and we try to educate the community to make their memory worthy, their sacrifice to our freedoms that we appreciate today, worthy of their respect and emulation.
Well, the park is well taken care of, and we know that there are some folks behind it that are making sure that it's maintained and well supported. Tell us a little bit about the park's foundation.
Well, as I mentioned, we're under license to the city and to maintain the park, all aspects of the park. So city taxpayer dollars or county taxpayer dollars are not going to the park to maintain the park. It's all through donations from the community and grants that we go out and raise. And that includes all the memorials that are in the park, as well as the daily grass cutting and landscaping that goes on there. So we have a board of 12 members, very distinguished people in the community that we're completely volunteer. We have no employees, and we have a cadre of other volunteers that help us do park cleanup events or any large other events that we're going to put on, like our Memorial Day ceremony and our Veterans Day ceremony. But there are lots of smaller ceremonies that happen in the park every week, from military organizations that have reunions, do memorial services there to commemorate those that they've lost along the way, as well as retirement ceremonies, other presentation ceremonies. There's youth educational activities, field trips. The Boy Scouts did a flag retirement ceremony there. So there's lots to do and lots to learn down there, and that's our mission, as well as maintaining the park.
Which is very important, because it's in honor of some very important and special people in our country. So we want it to be able to, represent that.
And we do, and I think the park is testament to the dedication and commitment that this community makes to that. And we've got a number of projects to continue to maintain it. As I mentioned, the Vietnam Memorial Wall is 20 years old.
That's pretty incredible.
And it hasn't really had any maintenance since then, but this summer we're doing maintenance. We're sprucing it up.
Good.
And with our liaison with Washington, we've learned that some 300 names have been added to the 56,000 names that are on that wall. And we'll be eventually, through our fundraising efforts, be able to add those names to the wall also.
Wonderful. Well, I'm sure folks listening in are going to wonder, how can I get involved? And again, we have a very strong presence of military in our community, and I'm sure some folks are going to feel connected to this whole process. Sure. And how can they get involved, either financially or through volunteer support?
Well, we've made it very easy to donate to our cause. If you go to our website, which is Veterans Memorial Park, Pensacola.com or .org, you can donate electronically there, or there's an address there that you can send us a check, or contact information. You can call me, and I can see to it that you can donate. You can also go to the park, and we have an electronic kiosk. That's a recent addition. That it tells you about the park, the history. It's you can put a credit card or a debit card in there and donate right there at the park, or you can
Makes it easy.
or you can put some dollars in the cash box
Wonderful.
Also.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This is great information. Like I said, it's kind of it's not a hidden jewel, because it's in a great location, but sometimes you can pass it up just by driving by every day. So I'm sure it's going to bring new folks to the park. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.